Hey, She Slayers, this is a special sample cut from this week's episode. If you find this interesting, be sure to make time to go listen to the entire episode released this past Sunday. And please be sure to help a girl out and follow or subscribe to this podcast. So, I have kind of a selfish question that I want to ask. All right, so I have a 12-year-old daughter, and I kind of want to know like what that next step is of leading her or guiding her into making right decisions. So, her dad and me are very healthy. We work out 5, 6 times a week. She's seen me train for half marathons. We're very, protein focused, healthy fats focused. We have a sauna. My husband cold plunges. I don't, but like what maybe I will after this interview. I don't she doesn't have social media. She loves reading. She's very cerebral, like very cerebral. Hasn't really connected with a lot of sports. Like, she's tried a lot, but, like, she just doesn't have that, like, "I love volleyball." She's not that kind of girl. Like, she's like, and so at 12, though, we're seeing definitely puberty has hit, and with it has come even more introversion, and with that has come more anxiety. And it's this like, okay, so we have shown her her entire life the importance of taking care of the physical vessel, reading, being critical thinkers for sure. And she is, but I don't know how to like get her that next level nudge of like, okay, you've tried cold plunging and she liked it, but then it quit. And, like, how do you kind of lead a young teenager, not like a 17-year-old who's really, like this young age to continue finding that drive? And especially in that privileged world, they don't have to worry to go seek the meat. They don't like
Yeah. Yep.
what's that next step for us besides modeling that life?
I love that question so much. And I love that question is at the heart of the entire deeper question of how do we get a young generation inspired to thrive on a purpose driven path.
Yes.
And the one thing I can say is probably very simplistic, and the other one's maybe a little bit more, we can dive a little deeper. So the one thing I can say is that, when we build our campuses, we think a lot about the creation of a community, the thoughtful creation of a community. You can't come to our campuses and swipe a credit card. You can't just join. They're invite only centers. We're not open for business that way. And I think that what we've done over the past 10 years by doing that, by saying you're not a credit card, you're a community member. This is actually a community. You end up cultivating a kind of sense of leadership, a sense of shared purpose, a community that just lives these principles every day. And it normalizes health and it doesn't make it, again, strange to, if young people want a cold plunge or they don't, whatever. If they want a sauna or they don't, whatever. It's not as if they're coming to a gym that they had to pay for, that they have to use all of these protocols. It's always open to them. Sometimes they get more into weightlifting, sometimes more into running, sometimes more into sauna and cold plunge. Often, though, and this is where I want to really focus, is if you've created an ecosystem that health is modeled, at the end of the day, all that this becomes at a deeper level is a mechanism for tribe, for community, for human connection. And I think that the health and fitness movement sometimes forgets that the secret sauce isn't the breathing protocol, it's the conversation that happens in the sauna. The secret sauce isn't the deadlift coaching technique. It's a 14-year-old looking up at somebody that they respect and seeing them working hard too, and knowing the right thing to say. It's only the oldest thing we've ever done, which is mentorship in community and watching health modeled. So if you built that, and if you can get other people who are, I can tell you in the health and fitness space, so many people feel isolated right now. They feel like the odd one out if they're actually taking care of their mental and physical, or their brain health and their physical health. And so they're looking for community. They're looking for someone who doesn't think it's weird to wake up early in the morning and go for a long run before work, or doesn't think it's weird to come in and lift some weights, even if you're not feeling 1,000% because you're doing what you committed to do for your own development, or doesn't think it's weird to sit in a cold plunge and practice your breathing so that you develop self-regulation skills that correlate to other elements of your life. So if you have that tribe, you have that community, it takes some of the pressure off you. Anybody listening to this, I get notes from a lot of parents who are like, look, I'm doing all the stuff. And it's like, well, you're doing it then. There's no other, you don't have to like, I ice bath 5 times a day and then I do backflips and juggle kettlebells in between. Like, you don't have to do more fitness. The question becomes, I think, we call it our organization Physiology First, and first applies that implies that there's something else after. And
Mhm.
what I see in the health and fitness space so often is that there's nothing else after. So
Right.
people get into a rabbit hole of physiology. Some of the conversations, the things I've seen people argue about, blow my mind. You're talking about majoring in the minor of biomechanical technique or whether this protocol or that protocol is better than this situation or that one.
Right.
If you can breathe and sleep and move and eat and kind of not drain your dopamine to like a depressive, like battery red state, then the question is, okay, what is your path to purpose? What big picture problem? And this is how I like to think about purpose is everybody listening to this has something in the world that bothers them more than anything. And maybe 5 things come to mind right now. You go, oh, that bothers me and that bothers me and that too. And it's like, well, you're one human being. So you may have to, with first principle thinking, ask what is a first order problem and what is a second order problem. For example, if I think that the social division of our time bothers me a good deal, maybe the first order problem is whether schools are teaching people to critically think about what they're saying, to critically
Right.
question their own belief systems, and to communicate like with respect and reciprocity. That would be a first order problem that maybe solves the second.
Right.
So, anybody listening to this, if you really get to the heart of what's my problem, the thing that I think is the most important, and then if you have a couple, figure out if one is at the root of the others, then you can ask yourself, okay, that's my job then. We luckily have like 8 billion people who are capable of solving
Did
their
you just
problem.
solve people finding their life purpose in, like, the last 3 minutes?
Well, I think that
Like, I
I
think you
hope
did,
that
like, I've never heard, because I mean, like I said earlier, like, there are 30 and 40 and 50-year-olds who have no idea what their purpose is, but I've never had someone ask, like, "Well, what do you have a problem with?" And it's like, "Oh."
it'll lead you to your life's work like immediately. And what else it does, and this is kind of cool, is as entrepreneurs, I mean, I know a lot of your audience are probably in
Mhm.
health, in professional, fields in health. So you are entrepreneurs, you're innovators, you're creators, right? And we know that one of the most important things when you're running a business is you immediately come into contact with reality. Meaning, if you
Mhm.
think running a business is easy, well, smack into the wall of reality you go, and
Yeah.
you realize that it's hard, right?
It's very hard.
And so when you realize that it's hard because you smack the wall of reality, you don't look at other businesses and think, I can't believe that didn't work for you, or I can't believe they shut their doors, or I can't believe all of you failed, because you've met the challenge head on and you realize
Mhm.
it's a real challenge. When you get to problem solving in the world, you have a generation of kids right now who are maybe more critical than ever of the way that things are going because they're being seen everything all the time. And without that contact with reality, you might just think, well, why don't we just snap our fingers and fix that, that, and that? Everybody get to it. Go fix the world. Come on. As soon as you get them involved in saying, what's your problem? Now go solve it. They go, okay, I'll solve that problem. Right into the wall of reality, they smack.
Mhm.
They go, oh my God, it's hard. It's hard solving problems. Problems are complex. They're multidimensional. They're really, really challenging. I keep trying to solve this damn problem that I think is the most important in the world, but I don't really know how. Maybe I need to assemble a team. Maybe I need to clarify my thinking on what is causing the problem. Maybe I need to get better at my toolkit for solving problems, which is communication, it's strategy, it's focus. And if you spend years trying to solve a problem, you're just less likely to become jaded, cynical, and nihilistic because you realize that problems are complex and problem solving is hard. So if a young person is doing sauna and ice bath and weightlifting and everything, the answer isn't let's train them for an ultra marathon on Sunday. It's to point them towards their problem and give them skills, tools, and guidance to solve it.